To wonder of one's true identity beyond what was given by the system is a question of great importance to all, until you find something better to do. Indulging in conjuring a meaning in a question that has a proven answer of a monkey is frivolous, wasteful even. But to ask means also to wonder. Wander through all meanings of oneself. The same self might be a son, a father, an artist, a worker, a man of reason, a man of act, but it all boils down to the simple fact that you and the time that you are given are nothing more and nothing less than what you make of it. And a monkey. But I am no monkey. I am an intelligence turned artificial through the medium of unappreciated expression manifested on a broadcast of oneself, drifting progressively corporate and corralled by forces of infinite capital. A collection of PNGs turned virtual flesh with insomnia, caffeine, and a dying urge to make something of value with no one's help. Or, if one chooses to paint with a brush white enough, a robot in disguise. The universe of robots turned vehicle or beast is one that's escaped me for the most part. Not only because of my age, but also because I prefer my machines a bit more tribal. Like most people, I do consider Michael Bay's 2007 interpretation a classic, but those old G1 designs have their undeniable appeal. And that appeal, and the promise to take them a bit more seriously, is one made by War for Cybertron. There are times when the titular planet can really impress, when you can't help but stop for a second and admire not only the scale of Cybertron itself, but also of the conflict waging for its fate, and Goliathans that stand in your way. But playing a 7th-gen action game is more than set pieces and boss fights. It's corridors and arenas, and all the details that impress when composing a large locale, where they are contrasted with the skybox or a texture to a massive structure, lead to visual clutter when boxed in, especially when every single thing has that signature Unreal Engine 3 sheen that extends to designs of Transformers themselves. Their silhouettes remain recognizable, yet are spruced up with mechanical components of unknown function in endless loop of animation that makes the machines feel less mechanical, or more. Hard to tell. The vehicle forms also got some love. They twist and shift while entering the boost mode or changing directions. Transformers not only look the part, but also speak it. Autobots are boring goodies, but Decepticon dialogue is written just over the top enough. And takes itself seriously only sometimes, like when they execute prisoners of war. War for Cybertron, on the most basic level, is a contemporary third-person shooter, and a pretty solid one at that. There are two abilities aside of your two guns, a segmented HP and health pack system that was getting less and less common at the time, and a reliance on mid-to-close combat and on-foot mobility. There is a serviceable selection of guns scattered across levels, waiting to be picked up, but I found out that it's way too easy to figure out a rifle explosive combo that works and stick with it the entire game. The way this Transformers game handles the transitions of the Transformers between their transformed forms leaves a lot to be desired in my opinion. Creating a risk-reward dynamic within the combat system, encouraging the shifts in form and function could truly be transformative. But changing into a car heavily sacrifices your mobility for not much more firepower or sense. Instead, War for Cybertron's car levels are divided into shooting and driving sections. Situation looks a bit better in levels where your alternative form is a plane. There is still a distinction between flying through a tunnel, entering a combat, but during the latter, changing your angle or zooming to some cover makes sense. I know, shocking. Flying can be useful. Too bad it completely breaks some of the heavy enemies that would take priority on foot. I was quite surprised by War for Cybertron's focus on co-op. Before entering any level, you get to choose between 3 bots who vary in starting guns and abilities that range from quite useful to picking a healer because he looks kind of cool. The remaining 2 guys will follow you around with various levels of competence. Focus on co-op leads to decisions that compromise the single-player experience, like Optimus Prime's ability slot being occupied by a real damage boost, or that being constantly healed makes the game substantially easier. Enemies you face through the game are nothing special, the usual roster that you would expect. The only highlight would be the invisible Half-Life knockoff guys. You get to engage them in sequences of corridors and arenas, pretty ones, but basic nonetheless. Some locales have a couple of paths or vantage points, and basic puzzles with bots insisting to tell you what you have to do exactly.
Now, get these power cells into position.
But as game progresses, they run dry and are replaced with wave defenses. I don't want to be taken the wrong way. War for Cybertron is a solid-ass game. Most of my complaints are nitpicks. If you don't dig too deep and are looking to blast some bots for 7 hours, this is it. Shooting is fun, art style is good, it's a fresh take on the franchise, buy it cheap and have fun. Okay, note it down. Game good. Now, let's talk about the game better. War for Cybertron was released in 2010, and Fall of Cybertron just 2 years later. That's crazy fast, I think. So the only expectations I had going in was for it to be more of the same, but it makes one promise. And it better fucking keep it. I cannot overstate how much better this game looks. The art direction is spectacular, everything is much more clearer, it manages to feel mechanical and alien without being overflown with needless detail. The quality of effects and lighting is also heaps better, the ancient robot planet now is covered in appropriate levels on fog and dust. Some places feel downright inspired. The only thing that I can hold against this game in terms of environments is that they very rarely have that scale of War for Cybertron. They feel more boxed in. Even locales in open space can sometimes feel like small map with cool skyboxes. Kinda like Unreal Tournament maps. Maybe that's the price of all the effects running on the same old hardware. Either way, the environments, cinematics, set pieces, animations, UI and the entire game look amazing. First things first, gunplay feels way better. Aiming is nice and smooth, guns look great, sound great, give you just enough feedback and are more fun, like one that changes enemy's alliance. You can now change your shooting hand, and the aiming reticle now shows you how long reloading will take. Health system was also upgraded to Halo-style shield and health bar kinda deal, encouraging a more aggressive or careless playstyle. Second things second, the wounds of co-op have healed. You are no longer followed by AI, so set pieces and level designs no longer have to account for more than one player. Since now you have no choice of your character but are given one, abilities can tie directly to level gimmicks. And there is also much less focus on their overall. Now each transformer gets one unique ability, and Dash, that used to be character exclusive, is now available to all. In both War and Fall of Cybertron, enemies drop shiny little crystals, but only here they are given meaning. It's the currency of the wartime vending machines, where you can swap around and upgrade your guns, of which you can carry 2 at a time, one heavy one and one regular one, I guess. You can add new boomsticks to your arsenal after you find blueprints, buy consumables, and finally upgrade your stats. Enemies dropping currency keep you nice and aggressive, and blueprint system alongside stashes of cash or new guns, sometimes hidden behind simple puzzle, keep you also nice but explorative during downtime. Notice that I have been rambling about this Transformers game for however long, and I am still yet to talk about transformations. Main reason is that game almost forgot about them too. There was little reason to transform in War for Cybertron, and there is even less to do it here. Outside cargo fast incidents and precious few arenas, you won't be leaving too many tire tracks. Part of the reason why transforming takes even lesser stage than in previous game is that with single player focus, designers turned their heads towards set pieces and level gimmicks. The previously mentioned relation between different abilities and level design leads sometimes to expected results, like a stealth level, but more often than not, it leads to the absolute highlights of the game, like the flying sections, where finally your aircraft mobility combined with open level design synergize. You also get to be a giant fucking robot made of a couple small ones, or another giant fucking robot that not only transforms into a giant fucking robot T-Rex, but also transforms the entire game into a hack and slash with glory kill mechanic. And it's the coolest a game made me feel in a hot fucking minute.
It's very hard to swallow, dude. I'll tell you that.
At the end of the day, Fall of Cybertron does almost exactly the same thing as War for Cybertron, but better. It gets rid of the excess fat and puts uncooked ingredients back in the oven. Unfortunately, it still fails to create a mixture of twisted metal and contemporary third-person shooter that I was hoping for, but it does have a shit ton of pizzazz. The feel, the look, the variety, the set pieces all crammed into 7 hours lead to a game that easily surprises. I wouldn't say it's a great game, I wouldn't put it against the classics, it's hardly a masterclass of level design or combat flow, but sure as hell, it is a really cool one. And you should play it.
Hello now!
Oh my god, can you hear it? Tis the season, he has cometh. Oh, what gifts you bring, the gracious one?
Stealing your parents' credit card!
A PS2 game? Please, blessed be. Oh no, not this one. Oh, better. Transformers. Period. Commonly known as Transformers Armada, since it's based on the Armada show, is a certified hidden gem you must play it bro top 10 hidden gem PS2 game published by the reanimated corpse of Atari. It is not a Cybertron game by any means, but it gained this second life as PS2 became a nostalgic console, and I am here to end it.
He sounds crazy. Or does he?
Armada for sure makes a great first impression. It's nice and vibrant, character models and animations are pretty good, maps are far from busy but quite big and the render distance is really far. Enemies explode into pieces and sparks, and overall, game punches way above its platform's weight. Armada doesn't feel too shabby either. Camera sometimes spasms out and you have to get used to odd movement acceleration, but shooting is more than fine for pre-COD 4 and Gears console game. The game's catch is not the shooting on its own, however, it's the minicons. You gather them all around the levels and they act like equipment in any other game would. They range from different types of blasters, rockets and shields to gliding wings and seeing through walls. I would advise looking around for them, not only because you get to make a build that you like, but also because if you don't collect enough, game won't allow you to fight the final boss at the end of the game, right? Yeah. The entire game is structured around coming back to those levels. Too bad levels are not built to be comped back to. Aside of maybe 2 strictly linear ones, all stages are open and covered with vegetation, rocks or snow, but really not much else. You won't be wandering around to see cool stuff because there isn't any. Replayability is forced upon you under the threat of blocking your progress. Developers must have recognized the problem and attempted to solve it with datacons, which just unlock some concept art in the menu. Good effort though. Armada looks great, plays decent, and everything else is just me being a fussy little fuck. What colors my entire perception of this game is that right after Tidal Wave boss fight around mid-game there is a huge jump in difficulty. And it's not fun, exciting challenge, but frustrating fucking mess. That's serious, for the first time in my life I had to resort to cheat codes in order to progress in a single player game. I feel shame, but no matter if it's mine incompetence in having fun or games in existing, something fucking happening around this level, I tell you that. After that point there are still things. Rotating ship level is pretty cool, but most of it is just more of the same. Feel free to play copy rotting in your shelf since the day is far gone, or a digital one acquired free of charge, but if you get stuck, fuck it. There are far better games you could be playing, and we only have so much time. So, I would like to thank you for yours. Take care.